Hey guys, this is Isaac Woolsey, the autistic comedian. I'm doing this video on gig drivers, aka drivers who are independent contractors like Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, and DoorDash, Uber Eats, those kind of delivery drivers where they're not paid an hourly wage and they're just independent contractors. I think it is those type of drivers are really hurting not only our economy, infrastructure, but it's affecting local businesses. It's getting harder to go places, especially on public transit, which you all know I'm a big public transit activist and advocate. So I'm going to talk about how I think we need to slowly eliminate those type of driving positions because it's just going to be more hard to get public transit effectively passed, and it's going to affect other things too. All right. So anyway, you may think now, believe it or not, this video kind of makes me look like a hypocrite because I do use a lot of Ubers, Lyfts, and DoorDash, but that's only in emergencies. Like if I'm stuck somewhere in the middle of the night, I will use DoorDash. I mean, not DoorDash. I mean Uber. I will use Uber. Like if the buses stop running, but it is. But I don't want to be reliant on that because here's the thing: Uber and Lyft put like other businesses that drive out of business, and on and because they don't have, there's not as much overhead. In fact, basically with Uber and Lyft, they don't even supply their own vehicles most of the time. It's basically just any ordinary guy with a car and a smartphone, and they can do it. And it's become very popular to do it because they don't actually have to apply for a job. They just have to just sit on their butt all day and drive. And of course, they don't make as much money, but the thrill of it is the independent aspect of it. Now, my big issue with Uber and Lyft, and I'll get on to DoorDash and the delivery stuff later on in the video. My issue with them is I'm disabled, and don't mind him, everyone. That's just my roommate. But I'm disabled, and being that I can't drive, so that's why I'm big in public transit. Now, Uber, it costs like a lot of money to use Uber. Not many people realize it's cheaper than cabs. But here's the thing. With Uber, it's like, how do I put it? It's expensive, but it's a much bunch of upcharge, more or less, because the thing is, it only costs because a gallon of gas on average lasts 20 miles, and it's like where I live in North Carolina, $3.09 a gallon. So that's 20 miles. So that's $3.09, and so if I'm going from downtown where I live to downtown to where I live in the middle of the night, which is only 2 miles, that would cost basically 30.9 cents. That's how much it would cost. Uber, depending on the time of night or anything like that, will charge upwards of $12 to $15 to go 2 miles, which is ridiculous. That's price gouging. And I mean, I get that they have to make a profit, but how do you get from 31 cents to $15? And yes, it's to pay the driver, but they barely pay them that. And a lot of times, and because of that, no it and also another thing. Sorry for the stuttering. That's just how I talk. It's actually echolalia. But another thing is with Uber is this is a new thing that I've discovered recently. Uber drivers, if they think you're too far away, or if they just don't like you, or anything, they can just cancel your ride before they even get there. And I've been stranded because Uber drivers have said, "Oh, I don't want to drive that far," so they cancel it right when they accepted me, which I think is just wrong and irresponsible. Because, like, if you say you're going to do something, you better do it, unless there's an emergency. And I don't think that's an emergency. They just, yeah, because, if I canceled a ride after I book it, I'm actually charged $5. I think they should charge the drivers that much money if they're going to cancel on you because it's too far away, all right? Especially after they accept it. I think that should come out of their paycheck because that is just irresponsible and wrong and inappropriate. And I'm disabled. I should not be stranded in the middle of the night because nobody wants to drive, which is like the only thing they have to do. Yeah. And another thing about Uber is because drivers nowadays don't have to actually apply for a job or fill out an application or like be credentialed or like go to driving classes. They can literally just use the phone. There's a bus driver shortage nationally, and that's affecting me because I can't drive. I mean, I can't drive, but I depend on the buses and public transit, and I live in the South in a not very public transit friendly area. So so that's why, and I have been stranded in the middle of the night. Not even the burger restaurants are open at that night, and I've had and yeah, there's been nightmares. I mean, there's been incidents where I've literally had to sleep on someone's porch because I was stuck in the middle of the night. Anyway, and because of Uber and Lyft, most bus drivers say, "Hey, we don't want to have to get a CDL license." So that's affecting bus drivers. Now there's a bus driver shortage. Now there's more Uber drivers, which aren't getting paid as much, and they're messing up with the public transit, and I have to suffer for it, which is wrong. Okay, it's not my fault I can't drive. Another thing is it also affects delivery drivers because also if they can just sit on their butts all day in an Uber, but they don't have a boss and they're just doing gigs, then they don't have to worry about driving other things. So now truck driving, like commercial truck driving, is lowering of people who want to actually drive now, and so now, like, actual delivery, like if you're actually eating food or ordering something from Amazon or other delivery set, that's actually affecting you, believe it or not just me, because then nobody wants to drive to your area, but they will be happy to do Uber, that's for sure. It's ridiculous, I tell you. By the way, this isn't a comedy video. This is just me ranting, basically. But anyway, and another thing, delivery drivers, like because of DoorDash and Uber Eats and Grubhub, they're also price gouging. It's like when you order something through Uber Eats, like if I'm just getting 2 burritos and a soda, I have to pay like $20 for that. which if I had a car, and this is including gasoline, I'd only have to pay like $10 for that if I went to Taco Bell. That's ridiculous, you know. That's immoral. That I have to pay that much because I'm disabled. And then I see like idiots on YouTube and TikTok say things like, oh, you should be mad at the drivers because you have to pay extra. We're barely getting paid. Well, it's like, well, if you really want to get paid more, you actually you'll actually work as an actual legitimate delivery driver, like a pizza delivery driver, not this weird I have a smartphone, I can do whatever I want thing. Because, you know, because that's another thing. The Papa John's where I live now goes directly through DoorDash instead of actual delivery drivers because they can't afford to pay them, and they're paying them more. But it's all about the independence and the independence of the drivers. So now when I order a pizza, like literally they'll transfer it over to an unlicensed DoorDash driver that I don't even know who they are. Like, I don't know anything. And one time I had to, because the Papa John's has this option to pay in cash, they actually switched it over and said, oh, you have to give cash to a DoorDash driver. I'm like, I'm not giving cash to a DoorDash driver. That's insane. That's not safe. Because I don't know what they're going to do with that cash. I can't trust them. So so now there's less delivery drivers on the road because of this, and you have to pay more money to use DoorDash and Grubhub than if you were to if you're ordering pizza through an actual delivery driver. Because I think an actual Papa John's website, it actually says that don't quote me on this, but I think it's like one of the rules is you can't use third-party delivery system to deliver because that's not safe. It really makes me mad, you know, because because so literally I have to deal with unlicensed delivery drivers that don't represent the company. Oh, and another thing, delivery drivers always mess up your order. I think they do it deliberately, and they also steal from you. I have that happen too because you can't vet them or monitor them, and because they have and because they don't give out their phone numbers for to protect them, if they steal from you, like steal your food, you can't report them to their company. And that's happened to me before, where they'll just refund my order but steal my food. It's affecting the economy. I don't mind using it every once in a while, but please, if you need money and you need really badly, don't become an Uber driver. Don't become a DoorDash driver. Become an actual driver. Become a bus driver. Become a delivery driver, a mailman. In fact, here's my final point. The only vehicles that should be on the road should be should be emergency vehicles, delivery vehicles, and public transit. Those are the only three that should be on the road at all times, not privately owned vehicles, because privately owned vehicle, most of the accidents and most of the destruction and most of the drunk driving comes from privately owned vehicles. And more people in the United States in a month get killed by privately owned motor vehicles than they do by guns or drugs or anything of that nature. So I tell you, don't just keep driving your car. Use public transit, unless you live like in the middle of nowhere or something like that. All right, there needs to be less drivers on the road. Like in Europe, they have this. They do the same thing where there's like where they realize there's congestion, so they have great public transit systems. This is what we need in the U.S. We had great public transit back in the late 1800s to early 1900s. That's why we need public transit, and we should get rid and we should limit gig drivers, as I call them. Okay. Please share this video to your local representatives, and please, if you're going to drive, be hired as a driver. I'm Isaac Woolsey, the autistic comedian. Like and subscribe.